to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Insanity Insane in the Membrane. It is Monday morning here, a few minutes past top of the hour. We're operating on Julian time today. Do see a little note here from, I guess, YouTube. The audio stream's bit rate is lower than recommended. I'm sure Chris is on top of that. And it looks like we got a whopping 2 viewers here. Woohoo, party! Obviously, this is earth-shaking. Did have a nice broiler chicken show yesterday. Actually, I think we mapped out that we were thinking about the market moving higher. I think I had about 4 or 5 reasons why the market should move up here. And we got a pretty sizable rally. I woke up to, I was a bit surprised to see how big the rally was, to be honest with you. You know, when the algo signal actually fires, we're very reluctant to talk about it publicly. Obviously, it's a proprietary product. And we would love to encourage all of you to consider subscribing to get the signals. But after the fact, I think we're okay talking about it. I think management's given me the green light. So we had the algo actually fire a long signal in here, and we were sort of like slightly down, slightly up, then sideways, 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 and then boom, big pop. So that was kind of a nice treat to wake up to. Good to see Sjord, our CTO, and unfortunately Sjord is just absolutely overwhelmed with jobs right now. We are trying to get the key reversal signaling system up and running, which is another sort of proprietary system. You're just not going to find it anywhere else on the internet. And I think he's doing fairly well. He's just working away like a dog on it. The big push is we would really love to encourage everybody to seriously consider participating in our Black Friday, big November sales event. And we're going to give you a deal that it's one of those deals that's just, you can't refuse it. How does that go again? No, obviously, I'm a terrible. That was my mobster impression. Terrible. But point is I think we're going to give you an offer that I think is just too good to refuse. So anyway, so nice to see the algo firing away, doing its thing. Sort of debating right now whether we should build in rules into the algo that if it starts slipping back, maybe we lock in some of these profits. I don't know. But good to see that, again, the algo seems to be keeping us on the right side of the market, which I like. Also, too, I think you saw it there on a Coinigy chart, and I actually just recently tweeted it out. Actually, interesting. I'm starting with crypto today. Usually I start the other way around. In fact, you know what? Why don't we circle back around and we'll come back to crypto at the end of the broadcast here. But broader market, it's just, you know, the broader stock market is not happy at all. And actually, when I loaded up my my screen here this morning, I like to sort of just put on like a matrix of all the sort of popular names. A lot of these are tech stocks, obviously, and how they're doing. And you can see, you know, Microsoft actually just confirmed a bearish engulfing bar, or excuse me, bearish empire, and also an island top there. You don't see that every day. The oil market is strong as anything. I suppose we'll talk about day trading in a bit. Big sort of ETF proxies on the market. I like to follow both the QQQs, which is the NASDAQ 100. You can see that's a pretty well-defined M. If we went through this low here, 369.15, that's actually a confirmed M. And we always say, where's my little drawing tools, right? Careful. If you ever see the market smiling at you, be careful. So as we said, 369.15 and today's low here, 369.03. And that's the NASDAQ, so that's all the tech stocks. And then the S&P 500, same thing. So if you ever see the market smiling at you, be careful. So this low here, 442.75. Today's low, 442.56. So, the writing's on the walls. If we did have the market come off here a chunk, it wouldn't surprise me. One thing that sort of left me scratching my head today, and I suppose before we get into that, we see Amazon, it also has that 3-bar fractal fail, just the same thing as Microsoft. So those are two pretty damn big stocks, Amazon and Microsoft. The semiconductors, NVIDIA, everybody loves NVIDIA, such an awesome company. It got smoked here. It is trying to claw its way back after opening. And same thing with AMD. You can see these M's, right? Lower highs and lower lows defines a bear. Meta. Looks like Meta actually might even put in an outside downside reversal bar here. Don't think it's going to be a key reversal, but it might. Well, yeah, it's just a 3-bar fractal, but nonetheless, 3-bar fractal did fire here today. So again, a lot of I don't know, this doesn't look so good. Netflix puked out. There's a great example. I mean, you just heard me barking about what are you supposed to think when you see the market smiling at you. Look at that. I mean, gee whiz, that is the most. Take a screenshot of that, people. This is exactly what I'm talking about, right? In fact, I think even didn't we do a short recently on market structure? I think we did. Anyway, what a beautiful example, and look at what happened. In fact, you could even make the argument on this one that now you've got that high, and that low. So if we go through this low, and that's 398.15, which we clearly did, 395.03, 392.61. That's an even bigger M. That's like, now that's going to be like a weekly smiley face. Yeah, there it is. Boom, 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 sell. So, I don't know, folks. This is looking a little dicey. Now, I mean, the irony of it all, and this is basically was our concluding statement from the little newsletter that we gave you guys yesterday. And a big shout out to Chris. Thank you very much, Chris, for helping me write that newsletter on a weekly basis. I think it's pretty solid content. And it's free, and I see lots of people trying to sign up for it. So I think it's doing its job. But we even left off with just a simple comment that September is historically the worst performing month in the stock market, and really almost all risk assets for that matter. So not a big surprise. We're seeing a bit of heaviness here. The thing that has me scratching my head right now is we have an FOMC meeting coming up here, right? Good old chapow, all that shit. Every time I do that, I give myself heartburn or a hernia. Not quite sure which. So are we selling off into the Fed? And if that's the case, and really, maybe we want to pop back over. Jesus, some of these gold stocks sure look good. Look at this Kinross. Jesus. I think Chris was even saying that he's in a gold long right now. This was an interesting spread that we were considering. But geez, look at that chart. So pretty. Oh, look at Tesla getting smoked here today. Actually, look at that. Is that a little double top that just came in there? This is an interesting one. Kind of getting off topic here, but this thing carved out an outside downside key reversal, and it didn't see a single person in the entire fucking correct your language, Brian. Sorry. The entire friggin' social media, YouTube experts. I even saw guys like literally talking about charts and up and down and squiggly lines, and they had the key reversal right on their screen, and not a single one of them mentioned it. It's just shocking. So anyway, I mean, this actually looks like an inside bar that's trying to farm here, right? So if we just politely put in a nice little inside bar here this week and then fail, then that's going to be just a nice rejection of that Q reversal candle. And we were kind of thinking that, or at least I was, because this was a really weird price action, eh? Like it gapped violently lower. That's what caused that Q reversal candle. And so the top of this candle right here, sort of the very bottom of the gap, you can also notice too that this created, this is actually what's called an island top. So if you're watching this video and you want to learn something, take notes. This is actually a pretty, used to be very, very popular in the day. But you would see this more off of bar charts than candlestick charts, but nonetheless, you can see it here. So this is the way that we used to denote gaps on your price chart, is you would put two horizontal lines like that on your chart. So there's the gap higher, and here's like a silly little fly flying around. And then we can go the other side, right? So up here, there to there, and then do another one. And if you ever see that sort of image where you've got like one going one way and one going the other way, that's called an island top right up top there. Why is it an island? Because it's all sort of surrounded by water on either side. So actually interesting. Look at that, how we're potentially putting in an island top here today. So anyway, so fascinating how the guy got right up into its peaks there and then backed away. I understand. I mean, that silly Toyota Motor Company, gee whiz, that was the stock to buy. If you were into automotive stocks, not this one, check out the difference in performance. You ready? Look at that. Holy crap on a stick. I mean, that was the auto stock to be in. And what's fascinating is that Toyota is advertising like crazy on things like Google and all that, and the American football shows and stuff. I mean, just every third commercial is a Toyota commercial. So they're really ramping up the whole marketing campaign. And of course, whenever the street sort of sees that, then what they're anticipating is there's going to be more sales because of the advertising. And so they bid the stock price up. So anyway, I guess just the point is that we've got the Fed coming up here shortly. Probably the best way to talk about this is let's go through our sort of regular routine math spreadsheet. And again, what I really want to be here is the demonstrator of best practices for you guys. And, you know, they always say, in fact, Chris even said it to me, and it's an old top step expression that I used to hear on the floor all the time. I didn't even take a trade today because I had a really bad night's sleep last night. Old manitis. I was mentally disturbed by something late last evening, which really threw me off my game, typical. And I had an absolutely horrible sleep, but I was committed. I was focused. You know, I'm just being honest with you guys. This is what you have to do if you fancy yourself a trader, you got to be honest, and you just have to say it exactly how it is. So I had a very poor night's sleep, as you can see, denoted bad night. So I woke up in kind of a really weird sort of framework, mental sort of mindset. Getting ready for the day's session. Probably the most important thing to denote about something like today is there just really isn't that much economic news out. So as a result, not a heck of a lot that's going to be moving the market. We had a housing market index come out, and interesting, later on this afternoon, we'll have a net long-term ticks. This is an interesting study. Most people in the market don't follow this. This is basically inflows versus outflows of capital into your country and out of your country. And you can see lots of capital still flowing into the United States. It looks like they're expecting it to come off a bit, but again, this is going to come out after the market closes. And then you got like an Australia rate meeting, basically first thing there tomorrow morning, late evening for us. But on balance, just not a hell of a lot of news here to drive the market. And when you have a Monday like that, and you have a lack of sort of drivers in the marketplace, it can really set up for a lot of FU moves. Traders just, they don't have any sort of, oh my goodness, this data came out, which is bullish, so you got to buy. There just isn't that impetus. And I didn't really see anything news wise that really drove the markets over the weekend. We could probably talk a little bit about news. I mean, it's ironic. Probably the biggest news of the weekend is there's this F-35 flying around, and the the military can't figure out where the hell the damn jet is, which is hilarious. Talk about an AI world gone wrong, eh? Now you've got this loaded military jet that technically you shouldn't be able to track it on radar because of all the stealthiness. I mean, who knows what the hell ordnance is on this thing? Did Chat GBT just all of a sudden, aka Skynet, all of a sudden wake up and go, all right, I think we're just going to liberate this fighter jet, and we will just go and park it in this undisclosed, I don't know, airport or whatever, airfield. And we'll just save it in our back pocket for a rainy day when we want to go and kill a bunch of humans. We got this thing sitting here. I don't know. But, that's the, and if anything, maybe this is a great testament that we got to kill this fucking AI shit now before things get really out of control. But anyway, there's this jet theoretically on autopilot flying itself around the world, and the military can't find it. You can't write better fiction than reality. This is crazy. Other than that, I didn't see a hell of a lot of sort of market moving news. I mean, a lot of tragic things. Poor old Libyans, man, a lot of people lost their lives there. And it's fascinating how, if there was I mean, how many people around the world actually died from the sickness? Was it this many people? I don't know. But these Libyan floods, I mean, the death tolls in the tens of thousands. I guess the sickness did kill more people than that, but nonetheless, I mean, you don't hear all these governments and stuff freaking out, but these poor Libyans, man, they got just absolutely wiped out there. Anyway, I guess just the point here is I didn't see a heck of a lot of news that was shocking. If anything, it's kind of cool to see Biden's in hot water, his son and all that kind of stuff. So probably going to see lots of soap opera around him and Biden Sr. and all that. But again, not really seeing stuff that's really got my attention. If anything, I do like this kind of talk. I don't think that the economy is going the way that most of the public actually figures the economy is going. And the sad thing is, I actually would make the argument that the Fed is actually very much like the public. They're always late. They're always wrong. They always do too much. They always fuck things up. And then you got to go and pick up the pieces after they've destroyed things. So, anyway, you've probably heard Brian rant about that kind of stuff in the past. But again, just not seeing a hell of a lot of news. So as a result, I think there's a lot of drifty in the market. And, when I looked at things like, in sort of my summary to get me going in the first thing in the morning, almost no news. We've got the FOMC meeting through middle of the week. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that are just kind of like, you know what, I'm just going to sit on my hands. I don't want to do anything. But in a weird sort of way, which is actually a little scary for Bitcoin, is usually they say when we're heading into one of these Fed announcements, maybe write this down if you've got your journals handy. It's pretty typical. It's either a buy the rumor, sell the news, or sell the rumor, buy the news. So since we don't have any news out right now, and we know that the Fed is the big FA driver coming up, we go and look at the markets here, and you can see, things like the stock market, we're kind of down at the bottom end of the range here. This is the 4-hour chart, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's some back and forth here, but Man, we did some serious technical damage there on Friday. They really sold the market hard. Remember, I'd said, I don't know if you guys remember this. I don't think I talked about it in the broiler chickens, but I definitely talked about it on the site, like the Afterparty videos that we do. That there's a lot of stock that Wall Street was forced to buy because they write put options. And of course, Friday was a big put expiry or option expiry event, an institutional window where a lot of put options expired in the money. And most of the puts are written by institutions. So pretty heavy downside pressure. Now that's the 4 hour chart. We probably should maybe zoom out. And what I like to do on the weekend is just take a good look at uh, the um, the weekly price charts, the daily price charts, try and get levels. Actually, interesting too. I actually think that my old boss over at Top Step, Johnny Hoagland, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life. He's just an absolute sweetheart. And he puts out sort of weekly kickoff levels that he likes to use as references. I think they charge you like $50 or something like that to be in their funny little combines, their little tryout camps, to be a prop trader. Frankly speaking, I would say for $50 a month in this world, $50 just isn't that much money. I'd be willing to pay that $50 a month just to have Hoag's levels. So you can clearly see based on Hoag's weekly, and these things are really, really good levels. He kind of figures that we're just in a narrow sideways channel, a trading range. But nonetheless, they're selling the market off into this Fed event, which theoretically should mean that once we're on the other side of the event, you're actually going to see a relief rally. So maybe make note of that. We're probably running out of time here. Actually, we started a bit late though, so yeah, I can go another 10 minutes or so. And thank you, Chris. I know Chris is trying to chime in here and let me know. That's what I heard you. Did you want to add something? All right. Interesting. There's one candle though. Outside, downside, bearish engulfing bar. Not quite a key reversal, but a pretty damn nasty candle. Nonetheless. And interesting if we go and look at the actual price action now. Looks like they're trying to reverse it, so that's encouraging. Like I said, if you see us, actually, oh, this is, I haven't looked at this in a bit, so that's kind of encouraging. Well, what the hell is that? Was that, I think that was Discord, but I don't know. Maybe it was something else. Look at these bleeps that go off. Yeah, it's AI saying, Brian, your concentration camp prison cell is ready for you. Rallying back into moving average resistance. So it'll be interesting to see whether we can gain any more traction from where we are right now. But you can see it looks like the market's catching a bit of a bid here, right across the board too. So if we do rally into that Fed and maybe take back a big chunk of this, well, then maybe we're going to roll over following the Fed. But we had started out first thing this week, and I suppose you could make the argument, you can even see can buy here. I suppose I wouldn't fault anybody if they did take long shots off those lows, although, gee whiz, that's a nasty engulfing bar there. Bit dangerous. So if anything encouraging, I suppose for the bears, if you're thinking following the Fed meeting, that you're actually getting a little bit of a rally here to try and sort of relieve this oversold condition. I guess what probably happened was first thing right on the open, those Wall Street people that were exercised on their puts, who actually had to buy stock, if they were forced liquidated and they had to sell. So right on the open, we got that. Keep in mind, there is no news here today. So once all that selling was exhausted, then path of least resistance looks like it's back up here. So if anything, also a really good analogy of Monday sort of FU kind of ranges. So we don't really have a lot of econs. So it looks to me like now we're even carving out like megaphones or something. So not the prettiest of price actions, no W's. Probably going to run into some resistance here at fast moving averages, that kind of thing. Certainly no buy signals here with the move to new lows, just dead cat bounce. Interesting how that all happened, of course, right in that reload zone. My crude oil experience this morning, I woke up, and of course I do this like I showed you off of the spreadsheet, looking at the daily charts. There is just so much bullishness here. This chart is ridiculous how bullish it is. So we've got like two different bullish AB equals CD price objectives here. And this 1.0 here that you see here, that would be the bullish bot price objective AB. CD, that's up into that level. And then there's this little AB, CD up into this level. So that's that 100%. We've got Foggenbaum's 2.618 off of this consolidation range up there. And interesting enough, Mr. Hoagland's weekly kickoff levels. He likes the 87, I guess 86 area as support, and way up top there at 95 area for resistance. And with this kind of image, when I first loaded up my screen here this morning, there's no way I can justify shorts. And actually, one thing that I added that I used to do when I was a prop trader, that I added to sort of the workload this morning is I just simply asked myself. In fact, actually, we have a script in the library that basically highlights the background colors, but in essence, just ask, what are your 4-hour trend relationships up? What's the 30-minute trend relationship up? What's the 9-minute trend relationship up? There's no way in hell I can short that. So I was hunting long setups through the morning, and this darn thing just wouldn't cooperate with me here today. And that's the way the market sometimes goes. And what I did notice, which actually it didn't surprise me, but I suppose it's par for the course. And this is, if anything, this is a really good lesson. If you fancy yourself a day trader, why you have to be really careful on no news days and Mondays right out of the gate. Notice here is the pit open. So we rallied up, we pulled back, we rallied up into these highs, and then this double top came in here. And they did it so cheekily too, right? So this low here, 90.92, and the low here, 90.91. Technically, that is a double top, but look at what they did to them. So anybody who sold on a stop through that low, just bang, bang, stop you out. Huge shooting star. So I'm sure all the people that did take that M top, this was just nothing more than a liquidity hunt. As soon as they had found that liquidity pool, the market just collapsed straight back down. You could maybe even say on Monday mornings, I'm going to hunt for whatever the overnight high is prior to the pit opening, and I'm going to short one tick above that high. Now, you know me, I have 3 reasons to justify taking a trade. And I want, my mantra here is I want to be the demonstrator of best practices to you guys. You also know that my trading plan, and this is what I teach you, is that you've got to have your setups fully vetted in your trading plan ahead of you trading. So you can see setups trading. I plan to trade the El Tangonator taught in the level 1 program. So that is not the level 1 El Tangonator trade setup. It is a valid setup. And if you want to learn, teach yourself how to do this, totally fine. But long and short of it here is I couldn't take that trade, but perfect analogy of FU markets. And actually, Johnny Hoagland, he used to always say, maybe the smart thing would be to, instead of going short on your M tops where you want to go short, maybe place your sell order right where your stop would be. And then that way, if you got stopped out and you'd be cursing and swearing, well, boom, you go short. And that's what we teach. We originally called it the Nebraska fuck you setup because that was another boss of mine at Top Step. And you can go see him, Michael Patak. Actually, he doesn't go by the name Nebraska anymore, which is kind of weird. Anyway, that was his old pit name. And then we had another gentleman out of Argentina who really loved this setup, 5-10 years ago. SFU, we called it, the Sebastian FU setup. Now we have a gentleman in the day trader room, Craig, who absolutely loves this setup, and he's in there. I wasn't in the day trader room this morning because I told you mentally I just wasn't in with it, and I didn't really see anything with this gobbledygook here first thing this morning. But Craig's trading that setup now, and we call it the CSU. So I mean, it is a perfectly valid setup. It just wasn't in my trading plan, and my goal here is to be the demonstrator of best practices. And the number one thing I can try and teach you people is vet your setups ahead of time and then trade your setups, and you got to live with the results. And if your setup comes in and you don't take the trade, that's when you should be upset at yourself. So anyway, point of the matter here is typical Monday. Look at what they did to this market. My ideal setup, of course, is to hunt divergence at good trade location. As I told you, I ain't got any trade location, right? Where's our daily chart here again? I mean, we're just powering higher here day after day after day. There's no reason for me to be hunting shorts here in the middle of no man's land. I mean, maybe if we get up into ATR, I might start thinking about hunting for divergence and stuff like that. But I would personally prefer just to wait for these A, B, C, D levels to be traded to and good old Hogue's level. And actually this is a really good lesson too, because if you look at the spot market, you probably don't see it, but this is the November futures contract. And actually, if we scroll back over time, we can actually see exactly what their plan is here. So who can tell me, what do we call all this open space, say from here to here on the price chart? And this was back when this contract was like the 20th or something contract and nobody was trading it. We call these price gaps. I mean, all of these should all be filled in, and we really should trade to that level to just clean up all of this holes on the price chart. And what a surprise, there's Hogue's weekly level, and that is the highest high of this November contract that was printed. So that's really our horizontal support and resistance. So, I can't really hunt shorts here. I just don't think it's a good idea. And since I'm trading crude for this combine, that means I need to hunt longs. And remember, we did our moving average studies. All the moving averages across the board are bullish. So that means that I need to hunt things like bullish bot setups. And, Murphy's Law, typical. Market came down, came back to VWAP. And ideally, what I want to do is short against horizontal support and resistance, ATR levels, and then take profits at VWAP. But you can see if I had sold this M, there would have been not be enough money to be made there. So it makes sense why that didn't work. My bullish bot needs 3 higher lows to work with. And you can see I got 1, I got 2. Then the market took off. And again, running stops up top here, like a typical Monday kind of trade. It just didn't, it froze me out. There is the bot entry level, but there really isn't anything I could do. So as a result, I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs this morning. And I had a horrible sleep last night. So actually I told the team we were thinking about having a meeting after I did these DBs. And I was like, you know what? Clearly nothing's setting up for me in the market here today. We've got the Fed on Wednesday. There's no news here today. I think once I'm done sort of the broadcast for the public, I'm just going to go and take a nap. So that's my day. And if anything, hopefully you can learn a little bit from this. I mean, hopefully I've given you a couple pieces of wisdom here, talking you through all this. But the most important thing for me is I have to follow my plan. And if I start taking trades outside of the plan, then I'm not a professional trader. I'm an idiot. So I did all my homework. You can see bad sleep. Well, interestingly enough, computer's working pretty good. Software's working pretty good. I did hear that Top Step's got its trader rate thing working back again. So I might jump from that quant tower back to the trader rate and see if I can do that on TradingView. It's a bit more comfortable than that quant tower. That thing's kind of a mess. So, but, I was at no man's land on the 4-hour chart. Of course, we're pointing up, 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 up. There's still lots more upside targets. So that's about where my analysis had to end this morning. And I didn't really see anything else set up. I suppose if I did see bots actually start setting up in earnest, I would be uh, thinking long. You can see here, very strong bull, can't can hunt buy setups. And I was hunting this bullish bot, but like I said, didn't get my third low. And the size of the formation was 32 ticks, which is way too much risk. I'm not allowed to risk that amount of money on any one trade. So there was no way in hell I could take this. So I just didn't do anything today. So trader's life. All right. So I think of probably the broader market. We could probably leave it at that. Quick comment about crypto. Interestingly enough, with the rally overnight in crypto, they actually took the market up into what I would actually consider a half decent trade location up top here. Wicks and tails like to be eaten. You can see there's a cheeky little gap here that needs filling in as well. Horizontal support and resistance against the high of that wick, 200 SMA, and the ATR level here. You can see this pattern here. It's one of my funny little, I don't even know what, we've never given this pattern a name, but you can kind of see, maybe we'll pull it up on the charts. And what time is it? All right, I probably talked too much. Tell you what we'll do is, why don't we pick up with the Bitcoin analysis in the after party? Maybe we'll look at the US dollar a little bit. This was the chart that the 4-hour chart that I put out yesterday. So you can see candle body highs, trade location, all that kind of fun stuff. I was wondering whether we resolve bull or bear here. Clearly we resolved bull overnight. So any kind of bearish setups, you can see I've already started to move this bear A, B, C, D. And interesting how off of this level here, actually, if we do sort of consolidate and start to break down, look how that takes us right back to this market structure trend line. So anyway, let's talk more about that in the after party. I should probably wind this up. I don't know whether you guys got any value out of it today, but I will finish off with is I have been telling you about setups that have been firing in the crypto market recently. Put lots of tweets and notifications. Did the Coinigy show last week about this setup. Absolutely textbook. And if you had taken this bot, then move stop to scratch levels hit. And if this thing craps out, you shouldn't lose any money off of it. So this is what we do at TRI. This is business as usual. Go back and watch all the free videos, watch the Coinigy show, watch Friday's show, watch the broiler chickens. Basically, we walked you through this trade as it's developed. And yes, I'm long from down here, and Sjord as TRI CTO, he's long a bucket load of this thing. So needless to say, from a profit perspective, we're feeling pretty happy today. And also too, I think I mentioned it to you before, we're taking these algo trades live. So we're long here. And what the hell? I think we're feeling pretty good here. Interesting. Look at that M top though that's coming in here. So we'll see what happens. All right, everybody. I think I'll leave the free video at that. Pop on over to the after party and let's carry on the conversation. Maybe I'll even ask a question or answer a question or two that was left over from yesterday's broadcast in the DB request room. All right. Have yourselves a great day. All the best. We'll see you all tomorrow. PMA for the win. And the only left is bye for now.